Every trade believes they're the one holding the world together. Electricians will tell you nothing works without power. Plumbers will tell you civilization ends the moment clean water stops. HVAC techs will remind you that without them, hospitals fail and data centers cook themselves. They are all right, which is exactly what makes this question so uncomfortable. If an entire trade disappeared overnight, how long would it take before everything breaks? Because that timeline doesn't just measure importance, it exposes what actually keeps modern life running, and what only looks critical until it's gone. This list isn't about respect, it's about failure points, and by the end of it, at least one trade you thought was untouchable won't make the top 3. I'm Joe. Welcome to By Design. Subscribe if you like knowing what most people don't. You'll want to be here for this one. Number 10. Crane operators. Let's start at the beginning of everything. Before the electrician wires a panel, before the plumber runs a line, before the HVAC tech hangs a unit, someone has to lift several hundred tons of steel into the air and place it within inches of where the drawings say it needs to go. That is the crane operator. They do it from a cab the size of a closet, several hundred feet above the ground, using controls that took years to learn and instincts that cannot be taught. Nothing over 3 stories gets built without them. No skyscrapers, no bridges, no wind turbines, no refineries, no offshore platforms. Median salary runs around $65,000, with experienced tower crane operators in New York and Chicago clearing well into 6 figures. So why are they 10th? Because their impact is concentrated in the construction phase. Once the building is up, the crane leaves. The trades higher on this list are called back for the life of the structure, every time something breaks, every time the system needs to function rather than simply exist. Crane operators build the world. The trades above them keep it running. Number 9. Iron workers. Crane operators lift the steel. Iron workers connect it. Every beam, every column, every moment connection, every rebar cage poured into every foundation in every structure you have ever been inside. Iron workers assembled the skeleton. The building you are in right now is standing because of decisions an iron worker made about how steel meets steel at a joint you will never see. They also work on the structures people forget about. Highway bridges, dams, stadium roofs. Every large concrete structure contains rebar that an iron worker placed before the pour, which means iron workers are inside highways, inside reservoirs, inside foundations that have stood for decades. Median salary sits around $62,000. Structural iron workers on major commercial projects regularly reach $80,000 to $100,000. The work carries one of the highest fatality rates of any trade in the United States, confirmed across multiple Bureau of Labor Statistics survey years. They land at 9 for the same reason as crane operators. Foundational, non-negotiable, but a one-time act per structure. The building stands because of iron workers. It continues to function because of the trades above them. But here is where the ranking gets interesting. From number 8 onward, the trades are not just building things. They are keeping things alive. Number 8. Millwrights. Most people have never heard of a millwright. That is not a gap in your education. That is a gap in how much credit this trade receives for keeping industrial civilization operational. Millwrights install, align, maintain, and repair industrial machinery, conveyor systems, turbines, pumps, compressors, the machines that make the things that fill the buildings that the trades above them built. Every manufacturing plant, every power station, every food processing facility, every mining operation has equipment a millwright installed and will fix when it fails. Median salary runs around $62,000. Experienced millwrights in energy and heavy industrial sectors regularly clear $80,000 to $100,000 plus per diem. They are 8th because the millwright's world is 3 degrees of separation from your daily experience. If every millwright disappeared, factories would halt within weeks. Supply chains would fracture. Products would stop arriving on shelves. Most people would never understand why. They would just notice that things were running out. That invisibility is the millwright's defining characteristic. Nobody thinks about them until the machine stops, at which point everybody does. Number 7. Welders. Someone watching this is already building a case for why welders should be higher. Finish the section before reaching for the keyboard. Welding is everywhere. Pipelines, ships, bridges, pressure vessels, refineries, power plants, structural steel. The range of industries that could not function without welding is not a list. It is a description of industrial civilization. Without welders, you cannot build infrastructure, transport energy, or manufacture most of the physical objects modern life depends on. Median salary sits around $51,000, the lowest figure on this list. That number requires context. Specialized pipeline welders, underwater welders, and aerospace welders earn $100,000 to $200,000 depending on certification and the specific type of risk involved. The gap between a production welder and a certified pipeline welder is one of the widest salary differentials in any skilled trade. They are at 7 because welding, while foundational to almost everything, is frequently a component skill embedded within larger trade roles. Pipe fitters weld, ironworkers weld, boilermakers weld. Welding is the connective tissue of the trades, essential, everywhere, and frequently invisible inside someone else's title. The comment section will, I am sure, make the counter case at length. Number 6. HVAC technicians. Comfort is the least important thing VAC technicians provide. Data centers run the internet. They generate enormous heat. Without precision cooling, servers overheat and fail within minutes. Every search you run, every message you send, every financial transaction that occurs anywhere in the world depends on a cooling system an HVAC technician installed and maintains. Hospital operating rooms require specific temperature and humidity ranges mandated by infection control. Pharmaceutical storage, semiconductor fabrication, food processing, laboratory research, all of it depends on climate systems that HVAC technicians commission, maintain, and repair. Median salary runs around $59,800, with growth projected at roughly 8%, among the fastest of any core trade, driven by the explosion of data center construction. Experienced commercial and industrial HVAC technicians regularly clear $80,000 to $100,000. They are at 6 because the collapse scenario, while severe, has a delay built into it. When the power goes out, you know in seconds. When the HVAC fails in a data center, you have minutes. In a hospital pharmaceutical storage room, hours. That window, small as it is, places HVAC one tier below the trades where failure and consequence are the same moment. The 5 trades above this point are the ones where nothing buffers the failure from the disaster. Number 5. Pipe fitters and steam fitters. Pipe fitters are what happens when plumbing decides to get serious about industrial applications. They install and maintain high-pressure piping systems carrying steam, chemicals, fuel, and process gases through refineries, power plants, chemical plants, and hospitals. Every oil refinery runs on piping systems that pipe fitters built. Every hospital's steam sterilization circuit. Every chemical processing plant. Every district heating system serving a city center. Median salary sits around $63,000 in the combined plumbers/pipe fitters/steam fitters category. Dedicated industrial pipe fitters in energy and petrochemical regularly exceed $90,000 to $110,000. On major shutdown projects, where an entire refinery goes offline and hundreds of pipe fitters work around the clock to meet a fixed window, the daily rates can be extraordinary. They are at 5 because their work sits at the intersection of energy production, manufacturing, and healthcare. Without pipe fitters, refineries cannot process fuel. Without fuel, most transportation stops. Without steam sterilization, hospitals cannot safely perform surgery. That is not 3 industries. That is most of the infrastructure the other trades depend on to do their own work. Number 4. Elevator installers and repairers. Here is where the list earns its controversy. Elevator technicians above HVAC, above welders, above pipe fitters. The case rests on one observation that changes the shape of the argument entirely. There are approximately 900,000 elevators in the United States. Every high-rise office building, every hospital above 2 stories, every apartment tower, every hotel. The Americans with Disabilities Act makes elevators a legal requirement in most multi-story buildings. Without functioning elevators, modern vertical cities do not function. Manhattan becomes a walk-up. Hospitals cannot move patients between floors. The 2003 Northeast blackout demonstrated what happens to vertical buildings without working elevators. People trapped. Hospitals switching to manual stair protocols. Buildings that function normally under power becoming logistical emergencies within hours. Median salary is approximately $106,580, making them one of the highest paid trades in America. 4 to 5 year apprenticeship, specialized licensing, strong union backing. The total workforce numbers roughly 30,000 people nationally. 30,000 people. Keeping vertical civilization operational. That is not a trade. That is a strategic resource. They're at 4 because the combination of earning power, infrastructure dependency, and workforce scarcity produces leverage no other trade at this level matches. Fewer people, higher pay. More concentrated consequence if they stop working. The 3 above them affect more people more immediately with less warning. Number 3. Plumbers. If you have made it this far without shouting at the screen, plumbers at 3 might be the thing that changes that. The case is not complicated. Without plumbing, you do not have clean water delivery. You do not have functioning sewage removal. You do not have sanitation. You do not have hospitals, restaurants, schools, or any occupied building that meets the basic requirements for human habitation. Plumbing is the infrastructure that separates modern civilization from cholera, typhoid, and the conditions that killed more people in the 19th century than all its wars combined. Median salary runs around $63,000. Master plumbers and specialized industrial plumbers clear $90,000 to $140,000. Employment stands at approximately 504,500 workers. Plumbers are at 3 because the collapse scenario is civilization ending, but unfolds over days rather than seconds. If every plumber vanished tonight, you would have running water tomorrow. By next week, failing systems would go unrepaired. Within a month, sewage backup, water contamination, and disease. Within a year, medieval. That timeline is what keeps plumbers from the top 2 spots. The trades above them produce their catastrophe faster, and one of them produces it in seconds. Number 2. Linemen. Power linemen install and maintain the transmission and distribution lines that carry electricity from generating stations to every building, hospital, factory, data center, and traffic light in the country. They are the physical connection between where electricity is made and where it is used. When the 2003 blackouts started with a software bug in Ohio, 55 million people across 2 countries lost power within hours. Hospitals ran on generators. Subway systems stopped. Water treatment plants switched to backup. The economic cost was estimated at $6 billion for 2 days. That was not a lineman failure. That was a demonstration of what their presence normally prevents. Median salary runs $92,560. The top 10% exceed $126,000. The work involves live electrical systems at extreme heights in all weather conditions, with storm restoration crews routinely working 16 to 20-hour shifts in conditions that would close most other job sites. After major storms, linemen travel across the country to assist with restoration, living out of trucks for weeks in service of a grid that most people only think about when it goes dark. Linemen are at 2 because they are the delivery system for the single most critical utility in modern civilization. Every other trade on this list depends on electricity. HVAC needs it. Elevators need it. Water treatment needs it. Remove linemen and every system that runs on power begins its countdown. But they are not number 1. Because there is a trade that determines whether the electricity works once it arrives. Number 1. Electricians. The argument for electricians at the top is not that the work is harder or the danger is greater or the pay is higher than the trades below them. The argument is dependency. Linemen deliver electricity to the building. Electricians make it function inside the building. Every outlet, every panel, every circuit, every lighting system, every motor connection, every control system in every structure built in the last 150 years was wired by an electrician. Median salary is $62,350, with master electricians and industrial specialists reaching $90,000 to $160,000. Growth is projected at 9%, the fastest of any core construction trade, driven by solar integration, EV charging infrastructure, data center construction, and the broad electrification of everything. If every electrician vanished, here is the specific shape of what follows. No new buildings get powered. No existing faults get repaired. Panels degrade. Fire risks multiply as connections go unaddressed. HVAC systems cannot be installed because they require electrical connections no one can make. Elevator controls cannot be wired. Water treatment plants cannot be maintained. The entire built electrical environment begins a slow decay that no other trade has the knowledge or licensing to address. Every trade on this list enables something important. Electricians enable every other trade on this list to function. And the workforce shortage makes this more than an academic ranking. The average age of a licensed electrician is rising. The pipeline of apprentices is not replacing the workers retiring out of it. More demand, fewer people who can meet it. The gap between those two lines is where the dependency becomes a vulnerability. And that vulnerability is growing every year. Pull back from the rankings and look at what the list actually describes. Ironworkers build the frame. Crane operators lift it into place. Welders join it. Pipe fitters run the process piping. Millwrights install the machines. HVAC technicians commission the climate systems. Plumbers connect the water. Electricians wire the power. Elevator technicians connect the floors. Linemen connect the building to the grid. That sequence describes every occupied structure on Earth. The trades are not just a ranking. They are a system. Each one assumes the others are doing their work. Remove any one, and something breaks. Remove all of them, and the built world stops functioning within days. What the ranking measures is not importance. Every trade here is important enough that removing it causes a specific category of disaster. What it measures is the speed at which the disaster arrives and the number of systems it takes down with it. And if your trade is not where you think it belongs, you know where the argument goes. I'll be reading.